Let's begin our meditation with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, Beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, Saints of all religions, Beloved Swamiji, we humbly bow to you all. Divine Mother, bless this meditation. Fill us with thy light. Help us in every way to act as your instruments, sharing your blessings with souls everywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, Mother, Lord, lightning flash, glimmers in thy face, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through, seeing thee I am thrilled through and through. Let's inhale, tense, and vibrate our bodies. Throw the breath out. Again. Tense and vibrate. Throw the breath out. One last time. Now let's go deep right away. Offer the love of the heart, awaken through chanting, up to the point between the eyebrows, giving ourselves fully to God at this point. Spending some time at the end of our meditation, sending out wave after wave of light to souls throughout the world. We'll meditate till 11 o'clock. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayatu Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayatu Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayatu Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayatu Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayatu Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayatu Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivarnam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivarnam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivarnam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivarnam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivarnam Orvarukamiva bandhanam mrityo mokshiyamamrita swaha. Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Orvarukamiva bandhanam mrityo mokshiyamamrita swaha. Om Triambakam Yajame Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Orvarukamiva bandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyamamrita Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Swaha. O eternal fire of Om, we cast into thy flames of love all of our karma, all that we are. Awaken us, free us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Please be seated.
We'll have our chanting now.
Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru Jai. Paramahansa Yogananda Jai Guru
Now let's meditate together. Inhale, tense the body in a wave. Vibrate every muscle, relax and throw the breath out. And do that twice more. Now completely relax the body. Relax the limbs, the hips, the stomach. Palms are upward at the juncture of the hips and the stomach. Relaxed. Relax your arms. Relax your chest. Chest is up. Shoulders back. Relax the shoulders. And relax the throat and the back of the head. Relax your face. Completely let go of all tension in your body. Be here now in this moment with Divine Mother. Let go and let her fill your consciousness with her love, with her bliss, with her compassion, with her forgiveness. Feel that you are being filled, every cell of your being, every atom, with divine love, with Divine Mother's grace. It's always there. The more you can go deep in meditation, the more you will feel it. Open your heart to her love. Call to her at the point between the eyebrows. Reveal thyself as love. Reveal thyself as kindness. Completely offer yourself into the light of the spiritual eye. And open your heart to receive Divine Mother's grace. We'll meditate for about 10 minutes.
Om, Om, Om. Shanti, Shanti. Continuing to meditate as we read from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda. This week is on kindness. When you can view all human beings as members of your own extended family, your brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, and children, then you will find wherever you go that love awaits you, welcomes you. It is God who gazes back at you when you behold him at all. Kindness is the recognition that all are truly our own. Kindness comes from not minding how others feel about us. It comes from the simple understanding that kindness is its own reward, worth giving out to others, because the source of so much sweetness in ourselves. For those of broad sympathies, the very universe is home. Let's affirm together. The whole world is my home.
The whole world is my home.
And the human race my family.
And the human race my family.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
The whole world is my home.
The whole world is my home.
And the human race my family.
And the human race my family.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
A little quieter. The whole world is my home. And the human race my family.
The human race my family.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
And whispering, the whole world is my home. And the human race my family.
The human race my family.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
With God's kindness I embrace all men.
And silently, the whole world is my home. And the human race my family. With God's kindness, I embrace all men. And please pray silently. Divine Mother, help me to see that by kindness to others, I attract not only theirs in return, but thy kindness as well. May I be kind to others always. May my kindness act as a channel of thy unselfish love. Om Shanti, Shanti.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday satsang. Nice to see so many faces after this long dearth of COVID. This is a reading from Whispers from Eternity, and it's a beautiful reading. And when Master wrote this book and gave it to us, he said, "When I am gone, I will speak to you through my whispers from eternity." And so this is one of his poems. It's quite beautiful. Thou didst reveal thy silver rays of speaking silence. Divine Mother, I heard thy voice in the speaking fragrance of the rose. I heard thy voice in the lisping whispers of my devotion. I heard thy voice beneath the din of my noisiest thoughts. It was thy love which spoke through the voice of friendship. I touched the tenderness in the softness of the lily. O Divine Mother, break through the dawn and show thy face of light. Break through the sun and show thy face of power. Break through the night and show thy mooned face. Break through my thoughts and show thy face of wisdom. Break through my feelings and show thy face of love. Break through my pride and show thy face of humbleness. Break through my wisdom and show thy face of perfection. As I called to thee in the wilderness of my loneliness, thou didst burst through the dawn to greet me with thy joy. Thou didst emerge from the molten door of the sun to invigorate me through the pores of my life. Thou didst tear away the night of my ignorance to reveal thy silver rays of speaking silence. Such a beautiful poem from Master, and he's given us so much in his love for us, his love for Divine Mother. And he wants all of us to come home, and he wants us to come home as swiftly as we want to come home. And so really, it's in our hands, but it's also in the Guru's hands. So we have nothing to fear, because Master's job is to bring us home. And home to what? Home to perfect love, home to that feeling of belonging, home to that feeling of knowing that, as Haridas was reading, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, those qualities vibrate throughout your consciousness. We never have to go back to the darkness when we accept that our home is in God. You know, Swamiji had a dream, so beautiful, when he was in Italy and towards the end of his life. And he had a dream, and he said that he was in just a group of people, just all different kinds of people, workers, rich people, poor people, happy people, sad people, depressed people, joyful people, everything that the human consciousness can convey. He was in that kind of a group. And he looked around, and he had this strong thought that he said was from Divine Mother. And he said, every one of us, he said us, not them, us, want the same thing. We all want bliss. We all want happiness. And whatever way that we go about achieving that happiness, that's within the realm of God and Guru and the disciple and the child of God to work out. Everybody's at a different place. Everybody has different karma. Everybody has a different journey, but we all want the same thing. And that ties us together as a spiritual family on this earth. It ties us together. There's no separation from any of us, because we are all individual sparks of God. And God is perfection. And God is love. So that means we are love. And we must begin to start to realize that. How do we do that? You know, Swamiji, when he was at the ashram, he was a very young man when he went, and he was 21 years old. And Master had his eyes on him. And so he had him teaching at a very young age, 21, but he was teaching people that were 40, 50 years old. And here was this young person. And so Master said, why don't you grow a beard? Because you'll look older and more mature. And maybe people will listen to you more. You have more, they'll respect you more. So Swami did. And he said in those days, it was really, nobody wore beards in those days. So he felt like a hobo, or like a, you know, like he felt like he stood out in a crowd. And so he did stand out. And there was a Masonic lodge that saw him and thought that he looked like Christ with a beard. And so they asked him to be in a plateau for Christmas. And he said, or Easter, I guess it was. And he said, all he had to do was sit on a rock and look morose and kind of sigh now and then, thinking about his crucifixion. And so he was just sitting on that rock. And so he did it. And then he went back to the ashram, and Master said, well, how'd it go? How did it go? He said, well, it was okay. You know, they all said I looked like Christ. But then he said to Master, but I really would rather be like Christ. And he thought Master would say, oh, you know, don't worry about it, or just slough it off. But no, Master looked very seriously at him, looked him right in the eye. And he said, that will come. And it's such a beautiful story, because it's not just Swami, it's all of us. That will come. That will come. Don't worry. Everything is in God's hands. He's giving you what you need every moment. Don't worry about your karma, your life, your tests, your challenges, how bad a devotee you think you are, or how good a devotee you think you are. Don't worry about those things, because God is in charge, and he knows exactly where you are every moment, and he knows what you need, and he'll give it to you. And, you know, Swami used to tell us all the time, what comes of itself, let it come, because that's Divine Mother giving you what you need. And so we all thought and think maybe, oh, that's an easy teaching. Bring it on, my success, my joy, my beautiful family, my this, my that, my health. Yeah, bring it on. I can take it. But what do we do when all of a sudden What comes of itself isn't what we expected, isn't something that we yearned for, isn't something that we even want. What do? Do we embrace it, or do we push it away and try to hide? What do? Do we go around and try to figure ways out of it? Does our mind start going and saying, oh, I know, later, I'll do this later. It's just too much for me now. Or complain because your health is bad, or complain because your children aren't as successful as you wanted them to be and didn't get into the right schools. Maybe all these things are from somebody else, but they can't be from God, because he said, what comes of itself, let it come. And we all want it all to be good. But it's not going to be, because before we even came into this world, we have our plans set out. Our karma is in place. Our karma is in place. And wherever we find ourselves in this world, that's what we're working out. That's what we have to go through. And if we don't do it now, we'll have to do it in a different incarnation. You can get away from Divine Mother for so long, but she knows where you are all the time. You may think you get away from it. Not necessarily so, because we have to work these things out in the cold light of day. It's not just going to happen in meditation. I'll tell you what, it's not going to happen. We're not going to become free and go into samadhi if we're meditating and then we think, well, where's my samadhi? It's not going to come by going to your phone and listening to a talk and then sitting to meditate and say, well, that was a good talk. Now, where's my samadhi? Well, it's not here yet. Well, let's see what another talk is on that phone. That's a good talk. I'll listen to that. I'll find samadhi. Nothing happens. Well, what's wrong with me? My spiritual path, my experiences, where am I? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, listening to those talks. Life is a little bit more challenging than that. So put the phone away and embrace your life, because that's where you're going to find freedom. Embrace what is right in front of you, right where you see yourself standing. Don't try to run away. Don't try to complain. Don't complain. Don't, just embrace it. Embrace what God gives you. And know beyond a shadow of a doubt, Master's promise, at the end of every single test is a blessing. It's a blessing. Why is that? Because you've had the courage and the willingness to say yes to life, and that karma is lifted, then Master can take it. And he won't give you anything that you can't handle. He just won't. Why would he? And he's right there. The guru's right. He sent you a guru. Divine Mother's in the guru. And when you start maybe wavering a little, the guru's right there. He'll take that karma. He takes all of our karma ultimately. So for us, it's really important to say yes to life. You know, we look around and we see other people's lives and we think, oh, if only I had their karma. They must have it so easy. Look at mine. I have it really hard. And they have it, they're just floating in God. Well, let me just tell you, it's not necessarily so. Because every time we work through one test, lo and behold, there's another, and it's a little bit harder. I love this story. I know you've heard this story, but it's inspired me for just all the time. I think of it, when I think of it, I get inspired. But it's a story of the monk who was in the disciples' ashram. And he was a young man when he came to the ashram. And he was in his guru's ashram. And he was his disciple. And so the guru gave him the job at the very beginning. He was a young man to carry the wood for the ashram, to go out in the field, out into the woods, gather wood, and bring it for the fire. And so he did with joy. My guru gave me this thing to do. I'm going to do it. He said yes to life. And so he did it day after day, month after month, year after year, and just kept doing this. And all the while that he was doing this year after year, he noticed that other disciples in the ashram were always around the guru, and they were always getting diksha, and they were always getting the higher techniques, and they were always meditating with the guru. And he would see that and think, well, maybe he forgot about me. You know, maybe the guru forgot that I'm here carrying the wood, like he said, after all these years. And then finally it just got to him, and he was out picking up some wood, and he was near a lake, and he looked into the lake, and he saw that his beard was white and his hair was white, and he had become an old man, just carrying the wood in this ashram. And he started to feel discouraged. And he thought, oh, why didn't I ask him? Why didn't I do something different? Why is he punishing me? What's wrong with me? I failed in this life. I should have done something different. And he started to cry. And then a little tear started coming out of his eye, and immediately, boom, there was the guru right there, holding his hands under the face so he could catch that tear. And he said, don't you know that if one tear from a soul as great as yours would fall on the earth, would be 7 years of famine? And he touched him on the spiritual eye, and he went into samadhi. It's such a beautiful story because we're all carrying wood. We're all been given duties and responsibilities and pain and suffering and all of this. There's a lot of joy too, but we've all been given exactly what the guru wants us to have for our freedom. And we need to trust that. We need to trust that we don't need to look here or go there or look on the internet for a different guru or whatever. You know, we need to be centered, we need to be strong, and we need to be very courageous in our search for God, because there will be times when it's not easy. I'll share this story, and I think I've told it before, but when I first came to Ananda, one of my first jobs was to cook. I had never cooked for anything more than 2 people. All of a sudden I was cooking for 200. And it was my first Christmas at Ananda. And I was told that I had to be in charge of the kitchen, plan the meal for Christmas for 200 people, and serve the meal. And I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do that? I don't know. I mean, I panicked, okay? I panicked. I didn't just float through it and say all is Ram and it was so easy. No, I panicked. It was like 10 days away. And so that night, I went down into my meditation room. I lived in this little teeny cabin out in the woods. And I just prayed to Master so deeply, more deeply than I've ever prayed before. It's how we pray when we need it. Help me, what am I going to do? There was nothing else I could do except hold on to the Guru's feet. And then I just got this idea, this thought in my mind, just be in joy. And I thought, joy? I would have wanted a recipe or, you know, some help, give me somebody to call. How can I be in joy when this huge responsibility, Swami was going to be there? And I just meditated and thought, okay, that's all I know. I don't know how to do anything else. So I went up to the expanding light the next day and I started thinking, okay, now what do I do? But I was going to be in joy. And I felt this inner joy growing in me. And I got a phone call from Lakshmi. She said, because I didn't know anybody in the community, I was brand new. And she said, do you know how to cook nut loaf? And I said, no, I don't know. She said, well, why don't I come down and I'll share all my recipes with you? I said, oh, great. So Lakshmi did that. And then somebody else said, do you know how to order food for 200? They called me. They called me on the phone. I didn't call them. I didn't know anybody. I said, no, I don't know how. And they said, well, why don't I come down and help you? So they came down and helped me. And the week went on. We got organized. We ordered the food. More and more people came. And a few days before Christmas, people were just coming into the kitchen at all times, all hours of the day and night, helping. Can I help? Can I make this? Can I do that? I'd hand them the recipe. They'd go do it. It was so wonderful. And I was in joy. But the interesting thing about that experience was that everybody that walked in that door was joyful. Everybody was in joy. And so it was magnetic and it was all embracing. And I just felt this joy rising up inside of me. And there was so much joy in that kitchen on Christmas Eve, when everybody was in the temple having the Christmas program. The kitchen was filled with people helping cook. for the next day's banquet. People were filled with joy. We were singing carols, we were chanting. It was just a beautiful experience. And the next day was Christmas morning. And at Christmas morning, most families are together, us four no more. We're going to open the presents for the kids, and that's all. Don't bother me. So I didn't call anybody, and I really didn't know if anybody would come on Christmas morning. It was filled with people. They all came. And we cooked and we chanted and we laughed. Filled with joy was that kitchen. And then Swami came. He gave a beautiful talk for Christmas. And it was just amazing to see. All I did was to promise Divine Mother that I would be in joy. And the whole thing flowed. And the food was delicious. And Swami stood up at the end of that. He gave his annual Christmas talk. And he said, I'll never forget it. He said, you can taste the joy in this food. There's a vibration of joy. Can you feel it? Can you taste it? And he said, the most important thing you can ever give to anybody at any time, the most important gift at Christmas or whenever, is the gift of your inner joy. What a lesson for me. And I looked at that, the whole scenario. There was this huge challenge. I could have run away and panicked, and it could have been a miserable experience. But no, I listened to Master, and I was, okay, I'll just be happy. I'll just be in joy. And it was like a miracle, it really was. But it shifted my consciousness so that now I understood it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's not what you have to do, it's how you do it. It's the attitude that you bring to your life. It's the love, it's the kindness. These people were my guru bhais. I didn't know them. I knew them from incarnations past when they walked in the door with their smiles and their helpful attitude. It was just such a beautiful experience. But you have to be able to be willing to say yes to life. You know, it's Divine Mother gives us so many challenges. Rajasi, even Rajasi. He was a great saint. Of course, he was freed in this life, probably in a past life. And at the very end of his life, he was meditating, and the very end, and he had a brain tumor. And for 3 days and 3 nights, he meditated, and all he saw was darkness. And that's a long time to meditate, 3 days and 3 nights. It's all he saw was darkness. And his heart was thinking, oh my God, what's the matter? Because he had experienced Divine Mother before and the Guru's blessings. And he was just, but he didn't give up. And he just sat there and he meditated 3 days and 3 nights. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the 3rd night, he saw this little speck of light here, little teeny speck. It was, no, I think this was like the end of the 2nd day, Swami said, because he told this story to Swami. And this little speck of light. And so for another whole day and night, he kept his eye at that spiritual, that little dot. It wasn't even the spiritual eye, it was a dot of light. Never moved, meditated. And then at the end of the 3rd day, that light came closer and closer and closer, Rajasi said, opened up, and there was Master. There was Sri Yukteswar. There was Christ. There was Babaji, there was Lahiri, they were all there. And they were there in this ethereal, beautiful astral light. And he went into samadhi. But even the great saints are given tests. He could have gotten discouraged. I've given my life to God. I've been in the Guru's ashram. I've given everything. And this is what I get. We don't know what we need. He needed the strength to sit there and to give his life without any thought of return to God. And that's the kind of giving that I'm talking about. Don't think about what you're going to get. Don't, even in your spiritual practices. You can go on pilgrimages and, again, watch those talks on YouTube and do all of the things. But what is going to give you God, and what is going to be a permanent transformation of your consciousness, and what will help you to go into samadhi, is the willingness to be right where you are and to accept what God gives you. in whatever realm, the spiritual realm, the physical, the emotional, whatever, the spiritual, whatever we find ourselves, that's what's going to give you samadhi. Because what happens when that karma is lifted, when that you go through it, Master said, when you go through a spiritual test and you come through it, you never have to go through it again. And that's lifted from your consciousness forever. And that's another chunk of karma gone. Another one, and another one, and another one. And all we have to do is say yes. All we have to do is love God. All we have to do is bring him in to every moment of our lives. We can't forget that Divine Mother's waiting for us to let her in. When after I got out of the kitchen, I guess I passed that test, and then they swept me away into the land of teaching, which was much worse than the kitchen. I'll tell you that. That was like being crucified every day of my life. There was not anything that I ever wanted to do. But honestly, I would stay up at night. I would be cold sweats before I had to give a talk or teach a class or anything in front of people. And I said, okay, I'll do this. Okay, it's not fair. I'd much rather cook a nut loaf. I got that one down. But now I have to stand up and just, I don't know, maybe I was crucified in an earlier life and it all came up. But I just said yes. And every single time someone asked me to teach, I would do it. Oh, those poor people that had to sit through those talks. But I did it because Master wanted me to, because Swami asked me to. And I just did it, not because I wanted to be the great one, but because I knew that they had my best interest at heart. And so gradually over the years, many years, I got to the point where I could speak and not be nervous, because I realized that the lesson was, what does it matter what people think? What does that matter? Does it matter what people think? No, it matters what God thinks. And God is flowing through me. And so when Swami made me a minister, the advice he gave was, when you teach and when you're working with people, feel that Divine Mother's flowing through you. And so I've tried to hold on to that, just really, and it's been a blessing, whether the class is good, whether it's not, I get to feel Divine Mother flowing through me. And that's the reality. And that's something that I hold very dear. And that's all I want. So even in the worst of times, believe me, those were the worst of times, I could feel Divine Mother working through me because I had said yes. And I just knew that there would be a blessing in the end. And this is what Swami would tell us all the time. Just do what the Master says. And even if it's hard, there will always 100%, no mistakes, you can absolutely count on it. There will be a blessing in the end. There will be a blessing. So we must just be trusting that Divine Mother has us right where she wants us. Don't look here or there. Be happy for your karma, but bring the guru in. His job is to free you. Hold on to his feet. And through it all, don't let go. Whatever you do, don't let go of the guru. If he wants you to do something, okay, it's over. It'll be over in one lifetime. But hopefully by this end of this lifetime, his promise is to free us. And we all can achieve freedom in this life. We all can achieve that. It isn't just sitting in meditation. It's then serving the Master, serving Divine Mother, doing what's in front of you. Another thing I just wanted to point out is that also sharing this joy, not just keeping it for yourself and thinking, okay, I really got through a big one. Now let's go on to the next. It's not about us. How can Christ's teachings last so long after all these years, Krishna's teachings, all these years, the true Christians, the true Krishna souls that honor their guru, that really honor those teachings? How can they last so long? It's because of the simple devotee's humble heart, filled with their teachings, filled with their love, filled with the vibration of what they're trying to bring onto this planet. And they work through instruments, and we are the instruments. no matter how humble an instrument we think. It's better to be a humble instrument that somebody thinks, oh, I'm the great one bringing all the teachings. It's not that. It's because our hearts are open to Divine Mother that this teaching has lasted. This is what Master's teaching will bring into the future. If we can open our hearts to him and his love, if we can open our hearts to what he asks us to do and just do it willingly and be part of this wonderful vibration that's going out into the world right now, into Dwapara Yuga, coming out of Kali Yuga, that dark age. We're going into a lighter age. A lot of conflict. It's not easy. That's why we have Kriya Yoga. We can stay steadfast in our spines. We can meditate. We can raise our consciousness so that we can help. Master said the best prayer is, give me thy love so that I might share it with all. This is what we want to do, because our joy and our bliss will expand to the very extent that we share it. It's the joy, it's the nature of joy to expand, the nature of love. The more you share it, the less you judge, the less you criticize, the less you block. The more you open up, you will see that your life will be transformed forever. And others will see it. And your magnetism will change. And you will feel that your divine friends are coming out of nowhere, just like they did out at the kitchen. They came out of nowhere. They will be there and they'll support you. Why? Because lovers of God support one another in our quest, because we're all on the same quest and we know it. Others don't know it, so they're going to pull you away. They're going to say, no, 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 no. This is more important. Go get a job. But the job is to be in joy. The job is to be in divine love, always, every moment. And we can get there if we meditate deeply and we serve. This weekend, we had a wonderful weekend. It was our very first baby work weekend. And maybe many of you saw the pictures, but devotees coming together and just serving, planting flowers and helping in the kitchen and just working in the garden and the children playing. And little Ryan was saying, gardening is hard. But they were here, you know, meditating together late in the night, in the early morning. It was really beautiful. And there was just that feeling of Ananda, you know, that feeling of this is what it's about. Devotees coming together, Gurubhais helping one another. It was just a small weekend, but it left a lasting impression, I think, on all of us. And we want more of that because our Gurubhais, the people that love God, the people that, I'm not saying just on this path, but Gurubhais, yes, on this path, really what we want for ourselves is what every single Gurubhai wants. Every single seeker of truth wants. We want bliss. We want to be free. We want more love. So why do we want to hold it all for ourselves? That's not good. We need to share it. Healing prayers, praying for people if you can't come here. Any way you can, share this vibration. And you will see that your life will be transformed. I wanted to close just by reading this one thing that Swamiji said about spiritual communities. This is from the New Path. He said, often have I felt Master's smile in my heart on seeing his World Brotherhood Colony dream become a material reality. His blessings on the land, an almost intangible aura of peace, are felt by everyone who comes here. The spiritual energy that is developing here extends far beyond Ananda's boundaries. Thousands in America and abroad find in Ananda's example the inspiration and also the practical direction for spiritualizing their own lives. This indeed is the broader purpose of cooperative spiritual communities. For although relatively few people may ever live in such places, people everywhere can be helped by examples, augmented by the large numbers involved in a flourishing community, that spiritual principles are both inwardly regenerative and outwardly practical. Every devotee, moreover, can be helped by the realization that he is not alone in his spiritual search. And we're not alone. And this incarnation is one of a true blessing, a true blessing. And we have done a lot of work and gone through many incarnations to get here. So we should be grateful and embrace it. Embrace our lives in God and help one another to embrace their lives in God. No judgment. How can we judge? We've all been there. All of us have been everywhere in our consciousness. And now it's our joy and our responsibility and our great just dharma is to spread joy. So simple. The spiritual path is simple. And we should be grateful every moment of our lives that we've been brought to this path and to our gurus and our guru bhais. So God bless you all and thank you for being here. And we'll have our Aarti now.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Now we'd like to invite those of you who would like to come up to the altar to receive the touch of light from the masters. And as you approach, offer a prayer of gratitude to the infinite Christ, in whose love our line of masters have descended, that we might all come to God. And pray too for the grace to share with all as you have received, for you are a part of all that is. May the light of the great masters shine upon you.
Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossom for you. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossom for you. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul, I will gather blossoms for thee. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Dipping them in devotion, I will lay them at thy feet. Listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song, listen to my soul song, listen to my heart song. In secret in my soul,
Let's close with a healing prayer. Call to mind those that you know who are in need of healing energy in their bodies, in their minds, and their souls. Visualize them surrounded in light. And call to mind those that you don't know who are in need of healing energy in their bodies, minds, and souls. And feel that Divine Mother is blessing all souls in this moment with her love, her healing power, and her bliss. Let's pray together. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Thou art in all these souls. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, minds, and souls. Send this energy out to all souls. Divine Mother, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion. And may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om. Shanti, Shanti. Go out with joy. Well, thank you all for coming. I think it's funny, I turn around and everybody's halfway out the door. So I feel like I'm going to chase after you. So there's just a few announcements. Thank you everyone who participated in the weekend. It was a joy. And we're going to have many more weekends like this, I hope. Jaya and Sadhana are in Pune at the moment as we speak, and they'll be coming February 23rd. So you're all invited. It's a Wednesday afternoon, but that's all they can do. They're going to be flying all around India, so this is what they have. So we're going to have a satsang at 11:30, and then a nice lunch all together, so you get to spend a lot of time with them. So please come for that. It's Wednesday, February 23rd. And then we have the last level 4 class is this afternoon. Haridas and I are teaching that. And so then we'll have a Kriya initiation in February, 27th on a Sunday. You're in the Kriya bonds are all invited to come. Please register. Harish will put out a link on the WhatsApp. Anything else? Am I forgetting?
I have something.
Oh, okay. Satyajit has something.
Once the recording is done.
Oh, no. Oh, come on. I had to go through it.
Now it's just that we are all here. We could do one prayer for all the people who are in the healing prayer list.
Okay, wonderful. You want to come up and lead it? Here.
Sure.
Yeah. Are you busy? Yeah, the camera's on.
Yeah, so I think we have, some of you would be seeing the healing prayer list. So we have people in the healing prayer list. I will be taking all their names, but we'll just do a healing prayer for all of them. It's also, people like Mohita, who's our Guru Bhais, is there from a very long time, right? So, and any ever you think who needs, just visualize them and let's do that. So please join me. Let us visualize all the people who are in our healing prayer list. Surround them with the healing light of Divine Mother. Visualize they're getting filled with this divine healing light. Every cell, every atom of their body is getting filled with this light, filled with positive energy and filled with joy. Let us pray to Divine Mother. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent.
Thou art omnipresent.
Thou art in all thy children.
Thou art in all thy children.
Thou art in all the souls in our healing prayer list.
Thou art in all the souls in our healing prayer list.
Manifest thy healing presence.
Manifest thy healing presence
In their bodies,
in their bodies,
in their minds,
in their minds,
and in their soul.
and in their souls.
Now let's rub our hands and send this healing light to all the people in our healing prayer list. Oh.